All right, what is up, everybody? It is August 15th, Monday, Tuesday. Sorry, I don't even know the day of the week. It is Tuesday, August 15th, and last night we had some good moves. Some of the pairs ended up doing some reversals during the news that we had for AUDJPY, or just AUD news. They went down, popped off, reversed. Specifically, I think it was AUDCAD. Yep, so it like dropped down, came back up, consolidated. It's at a level, at a low, so it was pretty much a guarantee to do that. I mean, you could have held it, still would have been in profit, but risk management, right? But a lot of the pairs did some reversals. A lot of the pairs continued. I had my eyes set on EUROCAD again, and if you actually did wait, you could have gotten in because this didn't take out the top of this peak yet. So this is still valid for a sell. So if you were to wait up until that high, you could have grabbed it. I believe that if we look here, go to the 15 minutes. So there was a shark fin, so you could have got in at the top and wrote it down and say for like, I don't know, 66 pips, 53 pips, whatever amount of pips you got in. That's pretty solid. Even on the 15-minute, there were some setups we could have got in on divergence and little type of mini head and shoulders in a sense. It's not the prettiest, but it worked out. It was obviously an intraday trade. It's not a long-term trade, but we have direction. We know what we're looking at now. We know what we want to be going towards and how we want to continue to move forward. So let's get started with the first pair on the list, which is AUDCAD. That's not, or no, AUDJPY, I'm sorry, AUDJPY. All right. So first off, I see EMAs are tight. So price is just ranging right now. You got a high, lower high. You got a low, lower high, or higher low. So price is kind of stuck in its own little formation here. I mean, if you look at AUDJPY, look at this. We have this trend line that got respected last night, hit it, wicked off of it 2 times, 1, 2, and dropped. And we have this. I don't think we have this for a sell, actually. I think we were waiting for it to either break. I don't think I put this. Let me see. Yeah, it was one of the only pairs I didn't take because I needed to see what it would do off here. So now that we know it rejected this zone, we can start to predict more so where it wants to go now. I mean, and like we see how there is a 4-hour resistance, 4-hour support. The EMAs are tight, all telltale signs of range, just a ranging market, aka this. So what we need to be looking for now is either a break over the trend line and ultimately over this high for us to get a more biased direction to the upside, or a break below this low to get more of a sell direction. So this might not be a pair we want to be looking at tonight. There is not a lot of momentum or direction. I mean, ultimately, it looks like it wants to drop. Just from what I'm seeing, I mean, you got the break of structure here on the trend line. Oops. It's actually not the cleanest setup. Wondering why I drew this. When I drew it. They see something. I think it was just more so there was more action on it. That's why, because I drew it on the wicks. So what happens if I correct it? Let's take a look. Well, then this kind of makes more sense. So it took it off of these, but it respected this one, this zone. And if we look at last night, or 2 nights actually, 1, 2, this was a solid setup. So I mean, it's more directed that it wants to go down. And if you see here, we're actually in a bearish channel as we speak. Don't have a specific pinpoint for this one, but I could probably draw this. Look at that. So it broke through 1, 2, 3. This is the channel. Not pretty, but we're looking at a bearish move, guys. This is going to continue that bearish move down. This weekly isn't really there yet. It's still consolidating. Nothing's really pointing out to me that it wants to continue up just yet. I still see more bearish momentum. So let's be looking for some sells tonight on this pair. What is it for? Peak formation high. So yeah, I agree with this one. The only thing is, if we're going to be taking this for a sell, if we go down to the 1 hour here, we need to see some sort of big move up, right? Especially since it's already in a consolidation. So the EMAs are tight, meaning this could go all the way back up. But if it does, you're looking for that sell, right? You don't want to just come in and say, oh, I want to take it now and sell it, because then you might get stopped out and it has that stop line. So wait for the stop line, wait for the push up high. We'll get a solid push, and then we can start coming in for that sell. You can take it to the low that it forms before it reverses back up, or you can take it to this low, whatever makes the most sense. But right now, it's inside of the bearish channel, and I think we should ride this down. So let's see how it plays out. And I'll put that down in here of what we're going to be bearish on. GBPY. All right, let's go to the next one. Euro AUD peak formation low 1 day. Have this set up right here. Good. Okay. 1 hour stuff, but that's too crazy. So you have the EMAs really wide out. This is looking like it wants to get ready for some sort of reversal. So we have divergence from this point down, meaning that eventually this will be a continuation down. Like this will break. And when this breaks, this pair is going to be solid. So all we're looking for is this, right? We're not going to take a sell on this until this thing decides to break down to this low. And once it breaks, we're going to come back and look for that pullback. It'll be during a retracement. So we just got to place our fibs based on that low that's formed once it breaks, and then we can look for our solid entry. So I would wait on this pair to do anything. It says peak formation low for sell or for buy, which on the higher time frame, it actually looks like it's going to continue. So let's see. I would say continue. It's bouncing off the 50 EMA. There was hidden divergence here at this point, way past the 78.6 mark, but it bounced off the 50 and the 4 hour support and the ADR low last night. So this definitely makes sense for a continuation. So I'm going to agree with this one again and say you're looking for buys. Now it's already at a high. We have this could potentially break through here. Now, if it breaks through, I mean, you could just wait for a pullback and get in to continue up to the high that it forms. But let's say it wants to, it pulls back a little bit more, because we are an Asian session and this is an Asian session pair. We could see it drop down maybe one more time and push. That would be most ideal. I just don't like buying when it's already at a top, because then, at least from my experience, when you try to buy at a top, it'll pull back, because the market makers will see all the buys and then they're going to retrace. And that's when you start feeling like the market's after you, only you. You're like, no, this thing's rigged. They're looking at me, man. They're looking at my charts. Man, I have had that happen to me so many times. But regardless, this is still bullish. All right. So maintain the bullishness of this pair for sure. Euro AD until we see a solid setup for the downside. GBPCAD. Oh, why this is here? Oh, this one ended up going down to the 50 here. The 50, see that? It never, well, didn't actually form the never. So, well, unless it was from the daily. No, sir. All right, so what is this for again? Peak formation low 2 days ago. It's down here. It ended the day bullish. TDI still showed bullishness on a daily perspective. We are in a upwards channel, so taking buys makes sense. I would stick with the buying bias. There's really nothing else to go against that. 4 hour, let's see. So the 4 hour did break structure to the top here. Clear as day. Now what comes with that is essentially either a consolidation rise or a pullback rise. Now, obviously waiting for a pullback is ideal. So if we are going to wait for a pullback for that, even though there really isn't any hidden divergence, I think our best bet is to draw up our fibs anyway and see where it would want to pull back to. So you have the 38.2. If this is going to be a straightaway, it's going to pull back to the 38.2. Right? That's something that I started to notice, that if it doesn't really do a deep dive, it's going to only hit the 38.2 and then it decides to continue up. So just be careful with that. Let's see what it does. That could line up with the 1 hour water, and then we could see some potential there. I mean, it's still, I mean, if you're basing it off of this, then we have the hidden divergence here. So if it drops down, this could still go below the 50, take out this little peak here on the TDI, and then we have maybe the 61.8. So let's check. Ugh, can't even talk. Check it out. Look at that. So now we have the low from here, this peak coming down to the 61.8. Now it kind of makes sense. So I'm going to base it off that. I'm going to see how it works. I don't see any regular divergence here. I do. This is either going to be an institutional candle, or it's going to, like, as in it took out some equal highs here and then it's going to reverse. But I don't see that happening. I think this is going to continue, guys. So remain bullish on GCAD. Stop hunt low, rise. If it does decide to reverse and drop, that's not going to happen until it takes at least this blowout. So it'll have to drop, continue, and then drop again. But see, this doesn't really make that much sense. So what makes sense is it drops a little bit and continues up recent high and maybe a little bit higher. We have the ADR high sitting up top here, so it could reach up to the ADR high. Do we have any resistance zones? Nothing. Nothing. We have this right here. You got this one little peak that it could retest. Let's see how far away it is from it. And look at that. So that's your point. That's your point of reference. From the low, let it drop, take it to the recent high for a guaranteed pip or a guaranteed win. Or you can extend it a little bit farther to this little point, which makes sense for retesting recent support turn resistance. So see how it plays out. GBPCAD. These pairs are getting really not bad today. They're doing pretty well. So just got to get picky. Find the pair that makes the most sense to you and then ride with it. We got GBPCHF. This one is here. It looks like here. Not sure if I want to touch this pair. We also have GBP. So that's something I forgot to mention. Today is the 15th. So it's the 15th. So if we go here, the GBP news again, CPI, what was yesterday? Employment count change. So CPI, this could be big for GBP. This could actually ultimately push it into that direction to retest the zone, especially in the upward momentum. So we're still good for buys, guys. I'm still very bullish on it. So moving forward, let's go to GCHF. The only thing about this one is it's just too sideways. Now this could push up towards that 50 or the 800 moving average, which is the 4 hour 200 average. So it is due for something at that point. Price always wants to go back to the 200 EMA. Always does. It's just a given. Now, based on this, it took out the highs here, as you can see, broke the structure, and it pulled back. This is the pullback. We see the TDI. This is not a reversal. It's still not even in the overbought zone. It's still at the 50. So this is, the GBPs are bullish. Even though this isn't like the best setup for me, this is bullish. So GBPCHF is bullish. You can take it to the 800 moving average. That makes the most sense. Let's go to the 4 hour. You can take it to recent resistance here, top from yesterday, the high of yesterday, which means that your best opportunity would be for it to drop a little bit more and get on an entry. This would only be 20 pips if you took it there. It's not a lot, but Can end up working. Let's see if there's anything daily. Okay, so this makes sense. Look at that. Let's get rid of the 4 hour. You're trading in between the support resistance zones on the daily. And look where it lines up, right at the EDR high, the 800 moving average, all confluences, broken structure. This is bullish. All right, so this is bullish. Let's go to GBPCHF. I don't really need to go further into that. You're looking for buys. Okay. EURCAD. Let's see how this one. Look at this. It bounced right off that 61.8. It continued. When did I draw that? Oh, was this? I mean, there is hidden divergence here. I think this is based off of 4 hour. So we have the point here. What's that based on the 4 hour? What did I do? I don't remember. All I know is this just worked out. The end of yesterday, going in here, bounce off the 61.8. If this is still true, the only thing, this is where this is where conundrums happen, because you got breaks of structure 2 ways. You have this break over here to the downside, aka then a pullback, and then we look for the drop again. But you also have that short-term break right here, and the 61.8 retest for it to continue up. Maybe retest that the trend line again. I don't see it's not oversold. There is hidden divergence here over. This might be something we might have to wait on with the daily. So the daily, might be a pair I wait on, to be honest. So it's stuck in the middle. It's wicking. If you ever catch me kind of just thinking, like, I'm quiet, it's because there's multiple things that could happen. And it's not certain as to which one it wants to be. So this might be something I might have to hold off on. My gut, it's torn. It's torn right now because it wants to continue down based off of the analysis from the top here. But I don't think this is because I don't even know why I drew it. I guess I drew it from the previous day or something. I don't remember this. So just be careful with this. I don't have any solidification. It's got a lot of wicks here on the 4 hour. The daily just through its own wick. Doesn't mean it can't go back up again. It's just not a sound structure. So if it does go up, it's just, I don't know, it just feels off. So let's be careful of this one. EURCAD, it says peak formation high, meaning it's still bearish, but I'm stuck. I want to say it's going to drop. So I'm not going to place what I think it's going to do here, just for the fact of can't give you a clear answer. It's in the middle. But I'm gonna pay attention to this pair a little bit tonight and see what it does. Because if it does shoot up, then I missed it. But if maybe it forms a shark fin. Maybe it goes up higher. Maybe it shoots back up to go a little bit beneath this high from yesterday and goes above this. Not above it. You want to go above it. Market goes up a little bit higher. I'm sorry, than the high from yesterday, making a new quote unquote high of the day, but divergent on the 1 hour chart. TDI. So we'll come back to this. This is not a solid sign. EURGBP, this one has been really dropping. Been playing out. We've been wanting this to do it for a minute now. Look at that. Went right to the low from here. Went back up, retested the 200 moving average on the 4 hour, it dropped. And now it's retesting this trend line. But the question is it going to bounce off of it and just kind of go a little bit beneath it for liquidity? Or is it going to continue down with the overall structure? Let's see. So it's beneath it's right in the 50s. So the EMAs are automatically tight. So what this means is that this could bounce off here and then go right back up again. So we're kind of stuck in a range right now. There's no clear direction, meaning that we could be seeing this shoot up tonight. The only problem is, so we have divergence from here to here, giving me the option that this thing could shoot up. In order for this to be a solid buy, guys, it needs to take out this high. So until I see that high taken out, sorry. Until I see this high taken out, I don't know if I want to buy it. I think it's still solid for a sell. And if you look at the TDI here, look at that. See how tight the volatility bands are? That tells me that it could stay beneath it. If it stays tight and the RSI stays in between it as it's tight, that, all that means is it's going to do this. It's just going to continue down. Look, the last couple days. We could be seeing the same thing, and this could be the retest of that hit. Stop on high, maybe during GBP news, hits it, drops. So I would say continue with the drop, continue with the sell. It's still a good peak formation high. I like it for it. It makes the most sense. So that's what we're going to stick with. EURGBP is still bearish. Yeah. But wait for it to shoot up higher. Okay. It needs to shoot up higher before it decides to drop. It probably will make its move during London session at 2 o'clock in the morning. So let's see how it does. But expect it to push up a little bit higher, and then we'll capture that down. Oh, EUROCHF. This pair has been interesting. So we have this trend line here that it broke through. Now it's got its own little thing. It's like I said, this might not drop all the way down to that low, but it could start consolidating. I said this last night in my analysis. It could start doing something like this because these EMAs are getting tight. If I go to the 1 hour, you're going to see them all really tighter. See how they're all tight right here? So price could start to consolidate up and down now that we see that we have some divergence here. It's clear as day. Oversold, divergence, shark fin, maintained it. This means it's better off for a buy, but it's premature still, right? So if we want to buy this, which if it does end up being a buy, I mean, this could just be the retest because it did retest it here, but I still think it has some more room to go up higher, retest, hit the ADR high, hit the trend line again, and then go right back down to maintain the overall range. So maintain this high, it would maintain this low. That was really ugly. You get what I'm saying, right? And then we have a range. We just buy low, sell high. So let's see what it does. It's still in the middle. We go to the 4 hour. So we have some 4 hour resistance. The price is obviously going to get stuck in here. It's not going to be a straight shot. The dailies are up top. And the 1 hour is all over the place. So don't expect crazy movement if you decide to get on this. But I do feel like it wants to push up to retest this trend line. And then once it touches that trend line, we're going to see a bigger move down. Right? So let's go to the daily real quick. I just want to see if there's any other types of higher time frame structure that we could utilize to give us a direction. Okay, so this is the other point that I was talking about. We have the daily trend line here. And if it does decide to go back up and just continue with it, this could be the start of a new trend line. So it could be something like I take this all the way here, that, and price decides to like gradually just move up with it. See what I'm saying? Until it gets up to here. So it'd be like this. Boom. And now we have a new channel that we could trade with. So let's see how it plays out. That makes a lot of sense to me. I think that's how the play is going to end up going. So if it does decide to break this high from yesterday, look for buys, look for pullbacks, and then we get in and ride it to the trend. But I'm not going to put it down for buys yet because it's not a solid setup point yet. This could still, let's say worst case scenario, it doesn't want to go up. Looking at it to hit and continue down, right? So I'm just letting you know that it could still do that, but my mind is saying it wants to retrace back up a little bit. I think it wants to do a bigger retest. So let's move forward. So I'm going to do this actually. So I'm going to do guys. Oops. Chief. What's the other pair? EURCAD. That's going to tell us based on how they move tonight. That'll give us the information we need to make for later this week. So these pairs could be good for later this week. All right. The EUROCHF, GBP USD peak formation high 4 days ago. Look how this pair played out. It's exactly. I didn't touch this pair last night. I didn't really want to just continue, but we did draw this trend line, and this is exactly where it went. Went right to it, tested it. It was perfect. You could have sold it right at the top here during New York session and grabbed it for the news down. This played out beautifully. It was out of the box. It was divergent right here. You have an M formation, 2 shark fins. That's barely a shark fin, but it's right outside of the volatility band. And then it drops. If you would have got in, let's say here, it's 46 pips. It's not a bad day. It's not a bad day. It's a good intraday trade. So what do we want to do now? Well, if you look at this, it bounced off of this 50 EMA, and it also bounced off this 500 moving average. Either it's going to respect this trend line and continue its move down without having to go all the way back up to this 4-hour 200 moving average, or let me see if it's the daily. It's been wicking, but I still think we have some sort of bearishness to this. So I'm going to say let's stick with it being bearish. The EMAs are tight here in the daily. Throw off any sort of normalcy of what you think it should do. So this could be a continuation. Right, so I'm going to say let's continue with the drops. Let's continue with the sells until proven otherwise, right? Because I don't have a clean break. I do have this break, but this is a trend line break, or this is a trend line retest. So if I want to buy this, it has to break above this trend. It has to, and then it needs to come back and retest it for that pushback up, right? If it doesn't do that, it's still premature because this thing could easily just go all the way back down like that. Test the low and yada 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 because of the higher time frames being in the overall bias of the sell. That's clearly selling momentum. It didn't take out this low yet though. And you have the EMAs tight. So this could just be a consolidation. Just be careful. Let's see what it does. This isn't the most clear pair. There's gonna definitely be more clear pairs after tonight. But if it breaks up here, then we know we look for buys. If it breaks down, then we know we missed it. But we could see a continuation. This could be actually level 2 drop, I think. So you have level 1, level 2, consolidation, potentially another drop for level 3. So let us be ready for that. 4-day peak formation high. This one played out nicely as well, where it pulled back right to the trend line that it broke through here. As you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 reaction. Now the 6 from yesterday, and an M formation. Solid M formation. It's not overbought on the 1 hour, but we do see some divergence overbought shark fins on the 15-minute. That you could have got in either here or mostly would have been here because you wouldn't have seen the divergence, but divergence here, drop, held, and continue to ride. So if you entered here, 44 pips on Euro USD, the most traded pair in all of Forex. That's not bad. It's not bad. So the question is, what's it going to do tonight? Information. Why? It's kind of in the same boat as GU, minus the fact that it looks like GU looks like it could go up. EU looks like it wants to continue down, and like I said the other night, I think it wants to shoot down towards the overall blueberry, right? So if it does that, then we still have a lot of momentum to go. The EMAs are tight here. I threw a fat wick here on the daily. Everything is still bearish. I see no need for a reversal just at the moment. There's no divergence. So when I see all that, guys, it literally just tells me it's a continuation. So your best bet, wait for a stop hunt high, which could technically still go up and retest this high, and then we look for that sell, right? So look for sells, look for sells, look for sells. That is ideally what we're looking. Oh, let's keep an eye. So Euro USD is selling market, nothing else. Let's go towards here. USDCHF peak formation low. I still don't want to. Probably won't touch this break. Yeah. So I did want it to drop last night because this being an institutional candle. So this did drop. So if you did get in on this, that's great. But if it doesn't do this again, so we had the daily support resistance met, the 61.8. But like I said before, it could fuck around and not just go straight down. This could come back up again for a double top. Maybe range a little bit right on the 61.8 and then drop. All that's possible. The way the TDI is, I've seen this before too. It's like it can continue. There's no set thing that states that this can drop. So I think we're going to see it actually push past this daily resistance to go to this one, to line up with this trend line and drop. Now that kind of throws everything else out the window, the other pairs, because usually these pairs don't really correlate together. But at the same token, I don't see this thing needing to sell just yet. This thing could still go up. So that means if this thing goes up, that means chief is weaker than the dollar, which the dollar doesn't really have any weakness. It's just stable, right? It's the stable coin of the world at the moment. So this thing's still bullish. So I'm gonna say bullish, guys. It's really well, it's not weird because Euro USD is so it makes sense. They have Euro AUD rise too. It's all conundrum. So let's go USD. And what's it for? Information. So it goes in line with the information, but you're probably looking at it to test the recent high. Compared to where it's at right now. $38, 40 pips. All right. GA. I mean, I was saying last night this thing wanted to do that, and it wicked up during the news, came back down, and then ultimately continued in that direction. I think we had GA for buys last night. So if you didn't get the news, but you waited till later on in the Asian session going to London, then you could have grabbed that. Now let's take a look if GA is something we want to mess around with. Look at that. Broke through that trend line just like we predicted. I said if anything you're looking for buys up to that trend line. So if you got it, awesome, congratulations. But this shit's not stopping. So we're still looking for buys on this. This is one of the pairs that is not going to stop till it gets to something of a daily resistance zone. Right now, it's inside of a. Look at this. It's an order block. Right now, it's touching an order block right here. So It's filling it. If it decides to reverse, it's going to be doing it here, but the top of the order block is right here. Right? So if we go back to the side over here, that's the top of the order block. We still have room. And this thing's still good for another, 190 pips. So look for buys. I mean, there's really nothing else to talk about. You're still bullish. You're still bullish. Still bullish. GBP. Let me see if there's any other pairs. I don't know if I want to go over these ones. I like NZD pairs. They tend to be the best. AUDJPY's at a low. I don't really want to touch that one. AUDJPY. Same thing. I mean, you're just continuing with the drops. Like I was mentioning before, there were some of these are just, you don't really want to trade against it. So continuation is still key. That might be divergence here, but it's not the type of divergence that I would trade. The setup isn't there. It needs to shoot up. I'd rather take a buy on it when it breaks. AD, yeah, all the AD pairs are off. NZDCAD. So this did continue to drop last night. We had this pair for a sell. It shot up a little bit higher than I thought, but it did drop. So let me see. There actually is NZD news tonight, 10 o'clock. So 2 hours, we have news. Right here. 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, we have news. So that should be pretty interesting. Let me go to the higher time frames. If you ever want to know what direction news is going to go overall, just go to like the daily, the weekly, and I'll show you. Just base your price action off of those time frames. We'll see. So we have channel going down and a mini channel within the channel. Interesting. That is a continuation. This motherfucker is dropping. This is dropping. NZDCAD's bearish. There's no sells here. I've seen this happen so many times. NZDCAD is the bearish. So I'm gonna put that down. Pretty positive on that. I just gotta snipe an entry out. It's already fucking low. And I don't want to miss this. So if the news happens in 2 hours and it decides to shoot up, I'll wait for it to shoot up and I'll look for a sell. It's so low right now. It's either gonna be a straight shot down in 2 hours or it's gonna be a wick up, then a drop. I don't know. All I know is that this is dropping. NZDJPY ended up continuing. I didn't touch this pair though. It's too choppy in the middle. But it did drop. That was nice. USD, same shit. Went up, could have sold this. I still think this is all gonna drop. Look at that. There's no drop. There's no continuation or reversal. This is the continuation pattern until it does something really big and then starts to pull back. This is not where it reverses. That's not structurally sound in my eyes. So I think this is a good place to stop. Let me, I'll do gold. A lot of people trade gold. Still fucking dropping. Let me see. I have it set up already. Still valid. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, guys, this is still bearish. Gold is dropping. I think that's. We can wait for this drop too. I remember calling the drop over here. Pull back. And it's been dropping ever since. So gold is still bearish, guys. So gold. Bearish. Oops, eyes on. All right, I'm gonna end it here. I think we have enough data to go over. If you're watching us on YouTube, go ahead, give us a a follow on our page on Facebook. We have the Connexus group. We have, and that's, guys, we have some really cool partnerships being lined up. Something that I don't even know the full details on yet, but could be really massive for the whole community. Get to the Discord, ask questions, get on a trial, hop on my, I can't even talk. Hop on the analysis live, or if you're happy just doing it from a recording stance because you trade different times, whatever. Like, subscribe, comment. Just let's get engagement here. I would love to get engagement onto this thing and see how it's helping you guys. For those of you that have been seeing results, if you want to share those results with me, I could post it and see and show people that this stuff's working. If the analysis has been helping you, if the setups in the actual Discord or in the description of YouTube where I'm saying I'm bullish on this, I'm bearish on that, if that helps you, let me know. Because those of you that are watching this thing all the way through, you're the real people. You're the real ones. So thanks for hopping on, everyone. I will see you tomorrow or the next day, whenever I do the next public one, and we'll crush it then. Peace out.